All right, folks, welcome, welcome, welcome. This is my wife, Nicole, and I'm Cedric Bell of the Hope and Healing Foundation for Suicide Prevention and Mental Health Wellness. We're also founders of the mental health practice called Advanced Client Care, LLC, out of South Florida, where we are today. I want to welcome everybody and our guest speaker, Miss Eden Gold. And we're going to start off with the foundation's mission is to decrease suicidal deaths among youth and veterans in the country. We're going to be starting in Florida and kind of migrating state to state. We're going to be launching our national hotline support and referral line within 30 days. Was kind of set back due to COVID and other issues,
What are you doing?
but we also offer outpatient mental health services, group services for children, adolescents, and veterans. We have a peer support program that is initiated in the University of Florida, and we're going to be hitting all the colleges in the state of Florida along with other states. So, if you don't know, folks, every month we invite a special guest speaker to present what they're doing and how it relates to our mission as far as mental health, suicide, environmental issues, the whole nine. Tonight we have Miss Eden Gold, who is a motivational speaker and certified health coach. Over the past 2 years, Eden has built her business after recovering from an eating disorder that seemingly took over her life for 6 excruciating years. Eden's journey to recovery led to her to delve into the world of health and wellness, trauma recovery, and psychology, leading her to obtaining her health coaching certificate from the Institute for Integrative Nutrition. She first published her book not too long ago, I believe, and she's launching her first online course this year, which is labeled Let's Get Body Loving, a step by step guide to loving and accepting your body. Eden has been featured on Mental Insights podcast, as well as spoken at events such as Nurture Her in Fiji, Tehachapi,
Tehachapi.
okay, state prison, Hustle 2.1 old class, 2.0 class, the Fresh Inspiration Show in schools around California. Eden has a mission to create a global revolution in the education system through breaking stigmas around mental health to ultimately create a happier nation. We welcome Miss Eden Gold to our platform tonight. How are you doing, Eden?
I am doing fabulous. I am so excited to be here.
All right. Well, Eden, you're going to be talking about what tonight, and where did you get this specific topic from? I don't want to spoil it for everybody, but how did
Right.
you become a speaker on what you're presenting today?
My talk is called Rethinking the Thoughts That Destroy You. And I knew what I wanted to talk about for a little while, but didn't have a name for it. And I felt like that just came to me and it just summed up what I was trying to say. And what I'm trying to say and what I'm passionate about speaking on is the one thing that controls everything that you do, and that's your mind. You need to keep your mind healthy, mentally well. It's a muscle, you need to develop it. And so everything I do is really mindset based. And then when you accompany that with actions, you're kind of an unstoppable human being. But if we can turn that positive and make it work for you rather than against you, then I think that's a recipe for ultimate success.
That is wonderful. Very seldomly people would really think about how our mind controls everything, what we our thoughts and so forth. Okay, our health and everything. So, how did you kind of get into public speaking? Let's start with that. And what motivated you to get into the mental health realm, or a
Well,
supportive realm, we call
well, I never shut up. So
it?
that was but I realized I made the connection. I don't remember at what point, but I made the connection between loving to talk and loving to speak and loving to be there for people and support their people and support people. I made the connection between that and being passionate about what I was learning. I didn't know why I had an eating disorder. I didn't know why me out of all people. Why is this happening to me? But what I realized throughout studying psychology and studying nutrition at the Institute for Integrative Nutrition is that there's a reason that was my story because it led me to my passion. And so I felt drawn to speak about that passion. And I had no idea how, I didn't know how to map out the way, but I had a vision and I was determined and I found the resources slowly but surely. I'm still finding them all the time. And so I just felt like there was two pieces to the puzzle and they're coming together, and it was speaking and my passion for mental health and wellness.
I think that's a very awesome story that you're stating, and I think something that's very useful for other people, and that you're being so vocal about this, because oftentimes I think a lot of people don't realize that their struggles can also be a part of their positive journey as well, and that you can learn from that and also then go to helping others. And so it sounds like that you had turned something that was such a debilitating time for you and such a struggle into something that is now so powerful for you.
Absolutely. I couldn't have said it better.
So tell us a little bit more about this rethinking the thoughts that destroy you.
Well, I can get straight into it right away, or I can give you a little background story. So, whatever avenue you want me to go in, I'll
We'll
go
take
into it.
we'll take it all in tonight, Eden. Let's start with
Right,
the background story and let's move us in transition.
right, right. So, rethinking the thoughts that destroy you. There have been many different presentations that I've given, whether it's about diet culture in the weight loss industry, whether it's about the 5 pillars of building self confidence, which is what I usually talk about when I bring it into schools. Or whether it's about learning how to love yourself from the inside out, whether you've struggled with body image or childhood trauma or whatever it is. And like I said, it all comes back down to the way that we think and the way that our thoughts are programmed throughout the course of our life. And they really develop us into who we are today. We are but a product of all of our past experiences. And so when I started diving deep into why I'm like this, it stemmed from two things, which was childhood trauma and the things that I grew up with that led me to hating myself and internalizing that pain as me being not worthy and me being not good enough, and not being taught any other way. We're not taught these things in schools unless you were fortunate enough to grow up in a household where they teach you how to stand up for yourself, where they teach you confidence, where they teach you all of what I believe to be necessary parts of growing into a mature, independent adult. You most likely didn't learn them. And so every single aspect of what I'm passionate about and what I teach comes back to the way our minds are programmed. So I knew that when Nicole reached out to me, that it had to do with mindset. It has to do with the way that we think that leads us to wanting to hurt ourselves. You don't just want to hurt yourself. Nobody wants to die. There there's always something deeper that it stems from. I didn't want to have an eating disorder, but I thought that it would make me thin. And if I was thin, I would be worthy, right? So the problem is I don't feel worthy. So it's a ripple effect and there's always something deeper.
That's interesting because I sometimes utilize reality therapy in some of my sessions, and pretty much the concept is just like what you're stating, is that whatever happened in your past actually made you the person that you are today. Okay, either be it negative or positive. Okay, it
Right.
encapsulates who you are. Okay, and now at the time with reality therapy, we look forward. Okay, how can we change ourselves right now in the present to move to a more productive future? So what I'm getting from you is that you kind of realize this in one of the parts of your lives, one of those years, and you said, hey, listen, I'm not going to encapsulate the negative. Okay, let's go with the positive. Now, having an eating disorder, it's all about your thoughts. Is pretty much even about how you was raised. Your diet, the diets in the family, and so forth. So you're able to get beyond that and actually succeed to a point of now you're addressing other people to show them how their negative thoughts are controlling their behaviors, be it their diets or their future. So this is excellent. This is excellent work that you're doing.
Thank you. I'm not sure if there's a question in that. Was there a question in that?
It was just a comment. It was just a
Oh,
comment
thank you so
that
much. That
I'm
it
in,
always warms my
yeah,
heart to hear people say that. It's
yeah,
really kind.
I'm impressed about it because not too many people can reach that point in their lives to actually address themselves, okay, and get to a point to address others, okay, and help them out.
To get to the point where you are not your eating disorder, that it was
Right.
part of you and will always be a part of something you have gone through, will always be a part of you depending on how you view it, but you are not that. And you
Mhm.
change your narrative in yourself to now
It
be
be
able to be where you are.
Absolutely. It becomes something that defines you, and it has defined you for so long. And recovery is so hard because you're essentially taking the one thing that somebody sought out to for comfort, like food for comfort, you are stripping them of the one thing they turn to in times of hard emotions. So by taking that, then you're left with all these hard emotions you don't want to feel or have been masking. So then it's a whole other situation of how do we deal with these feelings? So I feel like the same thing can go for a lot of mental health issues is you hold on to this as your identity and you're like, I am this, I am this, I am this. When did you decide to define yourself? At what point were you like, this is who I am? And why can't you change it? If it's not serving you, why can't you decide to be something different? And so then it's a whole process and a journey that you need systems in place for because winging it will only get you so far.
That's right. That's
That
right. Now let me ask you this. Now here it is a question, Ms. Eden. What type of modalities or interventions that you give your consumers? Okay, what type of activities that we can say to people out there to how to change their attitude, change that mind frame of who they think they are and to who they want to be.
Like I said, you need systems in place and you need resources. So, people like you guys, the Hope and Healing Foundation, you are a resource and you're trying to reach people who might not even know that there's an option out there. When I was young, I didn't know anybody else had an eating disorder. I was surely ashamed of it and I didn't even know what it was for a long time. So, uh, showing people that there are resources and actively seeking them out because they're embarrassed, they're ashamed, they're hurting, they're not always going to come to you is going to show them that there are resources available. But then when we are able to reach them and talk to them, there's other resources like phone numbers you can call, Facebook groups you can join of like-minded people, um, learning how to effectively cope with negative emotions by talking to somebody, finding somebody who you can confide in, who you trust. If I can talk to my old self, I would tell the one thing I wish I had done more of is talk to people. I was so ashamed. I didn't speak to anybody. I did it all by myself. And I could have saved myself years had I gone over that hump and realized people were there to help me, not judge me or hurt me. And then the other thing is putting systems in place, practices in place. How are you going to set yourself up for success? It's not just going to fall into your lap. You have to make a conscious decision to do something every day. You have to build that confidence with yourself. One of my favorite people in the universe, his name is Ed Milet. He says, you build confidence by gaining self trust, and you gain self trust by keeping the promises you make to yourself. If you tell yourself you're going to do something, you have to follow through. If not, you're not going to trust yourself and you're not going to have the confidence that you can do anything. So start small. Even if it's just today, I'm going to wake up at 5 a.m. Just today. Forget about tomorrow, just today, A to B. Okay, I did that. That's a baby step that can have a ripple effect. And I don't know what the word I'm looking for. It's like building blocks, but it can build on itself over time until you can take giant risks. Like I'm going to make a cold call to somebody and ask for a speaking engagement or just something big that you would have never thought you would have been able to do. So that's what I would say.
Being that risk taker, that is
Yeah.
very important. It puts people in a um, uncomfortable position. Okay, taking them out of that regular box from being, on the outskirts, doing something new, doing something challenging. It's really hard, especially nowadays. I mean, people are not as confident, maybe, I mean, my view of how they were. Okay, people are now, I think, after the COVID has set in, okay, people are exploring different ways to increase income, to increase their personal lives, and is doing very well now. Okay, but Eden, I'll tell you, if you continue to do what you're doing, you're going to be helping a whole lot of people getting out of their shell. Okay, um, huh?
That is the goal. I hope so. Working at it.
Oh no, you are. You are. A good friend of mine told me, he said, listen, if you keep on doing one thing, okay, that you don't know how to do, eventually you're gonna learn it, you're going to be a professional in it, and then you can teach somebody else. So that's exactly what you're doing. You're going step by step, the whole process, and as you're going along, I see that you're grabbing different individuals and saying, hey, listen, follow me. I got the special cure for this, okay? And it's really changing your mindset, okay? We do destroy our lives sometimes, okay? We're self destructive people, okay? I've always told Nicole when we first met and we're going to therapy and we're talking, all these clinical terms, and I said, you know what? You have to get used to thinking that human beings think more negative than positive. Okay, we are negative beings for some reason. I don't know. Okay, and we have a lot of doom. Okay, we have a
Right.
lot of fears and stuff like that that stops our growth. Okay, and we are scared to do certain things. So getting with somebody and mentoring them, actually giving them encouragement to move forward or to stop doing something that's detrimental to their lives, okay, like having an eating disorder, okay, it's a very hard thing to get out of. Okay, and I commend you for that, and I commend you for going even further. Okay, it's very impressive because not too many people can do it solo. Okay, you may have got people to help you out, give you little resources, just like you said, but you actually did it yourself. Okay, and that's the impressive thing to me.
Right. Thank you. Thank you for saying that.
Yeah, yeah.
So, in combating the negative thoughts that you used to have or the thoughts that destroyed you, what were some of the most impactful, pivotal moments for you?
Right. Well, I did want to say one thing about what you said about us being hardwired to be negative.
Mhm.
It's in our biology to keep ourselves safe and to protect ourselves, to look out for fear. So we're not always assuming the best in everyone when you think that we should. We're always looking out for something and looking out for anything that can be a potential threat. So for anybody out there who thinks, why am I like this? Why? It's not your fault. It's in our biology, and then we are conditioned to believe that way. And with these negative thoughts, our brains always want to be right. They always want to prove us right. So if my thought is that I'm ugly or I'm too big, I weigh too much, I am going to be looking for cues subconsciously throughout the day to back up why that belief is true. We want to believe what we know in our heart to be, or not in our heart, because I think we all are genuinely good people. There's more good in the world than bad, I think. But whatever our beliefs are, we are going to find ways to back that up. If you think vaping is just fine or consuming excessive amounts of alcohol is just fine. Doesn't matter what anyone says. You are going to find the facts, find the reasons to back up what you're saying. Point blank, period. And I think in realizing that it all stemmed from my beliefs, and I'm always going to look for ways to make sure my beliefs are true, it just reinforced that I had to change my thoughts. What do I believe about myself? How do I change that belief? Well, you can try the fake it till you make it method, and you can surely keep continuing to tell yourself positive things. That's actually very effective over the long term, because what happens is when you continuously feed yourself with positive messages over time, something will click for you. And I know this sounds a little foo-foo, but something things begin to click, things begin to fall into place. I can't tell you when those are. I can't tell you when you're going to have those aha moments. But when you commit to the life of a better life and to the life of positivity, you are going to have these aha moments. And it's going to happen for you. You just have to believe that it's going to happen. And you can work on this through journaling, through talking to a friend or a loved one, through sometimes I've been on YouTube for a couple of years now, videos. You don't even have to show anyone, just a video of you talking through your feelings, anything to release that negative energy in an effective way that's not harmful to you or the people around you. You will realize over time that's a system as you begin to build up to develop the habit, the rituals, and develop those systems, that it's going to make you a happier person overall. So I really had to start with one little habit and build on itself. But I will say, one of the biggest things that was an aha moment for me was I was I was suffering, and I saw these people who looked like they were just so happy, like Instagram, whatever. And I was like, I could never get there. No, me, like that's no. You, even though that's your ultimate goal, even though that's where you want to be, you don't have to look at it from A to Z. So I wasn't looking at it. I changed my mindset from looking at a fully recovered, happy, healthy, toned, whatever person to what is the next step? A to B, A to B. What is the next step? Okay, today I will call my mom when I'm hurting. Okay, great. Building that confidence in yourself. And then you're going to ride the alphabet wave and get to Z. So one more example of that would be, I was binging and purging a lot, and I would go one day without it, and I would be like, I'm healed, I fixed it. And then the day after that, I would do it again, and I would beat myself up. I thought I was healed. I thought like the heavens had blessed me with recovery. And I realized that I need to stop looking at the big picture, and I need to set day goals, a 1-day goal. Today, I'm not going to purge. Whatever, tomorrow, whatever. Today, I'm not going to do that. Great. The next day, a 1-day goal. Today, I'm not going to do that. Today, I'm going to talk to my mom when I need help. Today, I'm going to journal. Forget about tomorrow. And then slowly you realize a week has gone by and a month has gone by and your mood is lightening up and you realize the world's not so bad. Yeah.
I love that. That's beautiful how you presented that, because that's what it's about. Okay. If you're in the Alcoholics Anonymous, it's 12-step program, you got to do the steps. Okay. Day by day, minute by minute, hour by hour. Okay. If you just stay focused on the here and now. Okay. Like you said, don't worry about tomorrow. Tomorrow's not here yet. Okay. We don't know
Right.
what's going to happen tomorrow, but we know what we can do today. Okay. We can make a plan of action. Okay. Just like you said, you had that semi support system. The first thing is something that happens, I'm going to call mom. Okay. And people need to have that in place in order to be more successful. Let's say that you need it or you have to have it, but have it to start recovery or start change. Okay. We asked people to have a support system. Okay, because you're actually fighting for your life in some of these instances. Okay, so You have to have people that you can call to motivate you, to support you, a shoulder to cry on, and so forth, because you are working on oneself and you're trying to get to a certain level. So, other than the support systems and stuff like that, and the resources, how were I know you said things had clicked, okay? And that's not everybody, okay, that is going to click. What type of support system did you have? Did you have those people that you can go to? Did they understand what was happening with you? And could they support you in that manner?
It's really unique in my case because some people's situations get so bad that they have no choice. But never went to, I was never hospitalized. I kept it a damn good secret for a long time. And slowly people started to figure out what was going on. But even at that point, they didn't understand. So, I hate to say this about my parents, but when my sister found out that I had been like throwing up in a toilet, and she told my parents, they, rather than having a real talk with me, they were like, they would make jokes and be like, what are you going to go throw up now? And you know what? They didn't know. They didn't know, but a lot of people don't know. So it's no surprise that you're feeling like your support system is not working for you, or you don't even want to go there because they're not going to get it anyways. So the best support that I gave myself when I was like, I know there's something better out there. I don't know what it is, but I know there's something better out there. I educated myself. I watched YouTube videos, I read blogs, I researched, I studied. I knew that this is where the nutrition and the psychology and everything came in for years. And I started trying new diets and trying new things to figure out what worked for me. And granted, I didn't know that the diets I were trying were still restrictive. I thought I found the answer, but it was all necessary for me to figure out what didn't work. And so I think knowledge is one of the most important things that you can do for yourself. So you know what's going on in your body. So you know what's going on in your brain, and you can make a more logical decision as to where to go from here. And maybe what comes with that knowledge is you feeling confident enough to seek help and find your resources, because slowly but surely I was like, oh, there's people online who feel the same way. I wasn't binging and purging at this point, but my thoughts were still really toxic. And then I started to reach out to my community slowly but surely. But it all started with me having to take that initial step myself and then getting to a point where I could talk to people. But again, if I could go back, I would tell people that you can skip that step, that you can't skip it, but you don't have to be alone through it. So you can surely fast track your process to a happier, healthier, and more fulfilling life. You can surely fast track it. And I'm telling anybody out there right now that you are never alone in the way that you feel. There is always somebody out there who gets it, who knows what you're going through, and you are never alone. So find those people. They're out there. We are those people. We find people who know people who know people. And you'll learn more, and you'll filter out what makes sense in your heart and what's a bunch of BS, like diets that don't work and stuff. But that, none of that was an aha moment. That was consistency at a slow rate, where I was thinking I was on track for a little while, and then I would have one day where I feel really down and I'm like, man, I'm really not even going anywhere, like da da da, like, but then I'd have 2 more good days and then another down one and feel like I wanted to give up. But no progress is linear. Not even the progress of an entrepreneur. You are seeing the flashy $1 million. You are seeing this hot ideal body online. You're seeing this bodybuilder. You're not seeing the work, the struggle, the damn near giving up that went into it. So just know that no progress is linear. And during that period of my life, aha moments were few and far between.
Well, I feel motivated.
Yeah,
I feel
she's motivating
motivated.
me now. Yeah, right. But I tell you this is it's a good thing to have support. Okay, many people don't. I've been a therapist for close to 30 years. Okay, I've handled everything on the mental health, behavioral health spectrum. I've handled eating disorders, every type of phobias you can name. I mean, everything. And to develop one support system, I used to run groups in one of the psychiatric hospitals, and groups of 40, you know, people each. And I said, well, the first thing I wanted everybody to do is to get a support person within the group. Okay, so these support groups are one of the major things that we kind of induce to therapy, because you're helping yourself. That's why they call them self-help groups. Okay, and you're able to get some of these resources, make friendships, and support each other, because I mean, who knows best how to support somebody in those type of arenas is the people that's there, that needs and looking for that same support. You can bounce, ideas off each other's heads and whatnot. Okay, compare notes, compare research and so forth, and actually start making a support system of people. And like I said, I agree with you to go out there, reach out to professionals, okay, and getting that information. Was there a particular eating disorder group that you actually affiliate yourself with, or an institute?
There are a couple of groups on Facebook that I'm a part of actively, mostly for support. There's a lot of people who come there looking for support, so I often will reach out to them and answer questions. There's a lot of groups out there for really anything that you could be looking for. There's mental health groups, mental health for COVID groups. There's a group I'm a part of called Me, Myself, and Anxiety for people with anxiety. There's groups for everything, and it's so many people from so many different backgrounds, age groups. And if you're looking for someone like you, go into one of those groups and make a post and say, hey, is anyone in their 20s in here? Can we connect? There you go. Boom. You made some connections. Thomas Jefferson says, if you want something you've never had, you have to do something you've never done. So you have to step out of your comfort zone and make that first call, make that first post, join that first group, and then things will just start to fall together when you start taking that action. And other than that, another thing that I found really helpful was I would go to San Francisco, California, and go to a support group for family members of people who are incarcerated. And for those of you who don't know my story, my dad is in prison. So a huge part of my childhood trauma was him getting arrested and now serving a life sentence without parole. So I went there and I connected with people who had just gotten out of prison, people who had a son in prison. And that's why I spoke at Tehachapi State Prison. And I had people coming up to me after like, oh my God, my daughter is like on the outside, or my son's on the outside. You gave me hope that you are like, someone told me recently, oh my God, it was so sweet. You are the epitome of what everybody hopes that their child is doing outside of prison. And you don't always see the value in yourself, but you put yourself in these situations and you just seek out the support and you realize there's more value to you. And then you're also able to give value and learn and grow.
That's wonderful. That's wonderful. And I thank you for sharing some of your personal information with us, because personal stories are very valuable. We also do have a platform on Facebook called The World is Listening, WIL, for suicide prevention or suicide survivors stories. Okay. And what you're just saying is that, you're sharing yourself, which is a blessing to other people. And the program that we're having is just that. Okay, we like to have people to go on, share their stories about how they survived a suicidal incident. Okay, or they had somebody in their family, and they are a survivor. Okay, people who are attached to somebody who passed. Okay, they're the survivors now. Okay, so what you're presenting is really good, to sharing your personal stuff, and giving that motivation to others to seek out assistance.
It's just the power of it, the power of, and I think it's, I love when I see people who tell their own stories, such as yourself. I think as trained clinicians as we are, we're not your orthodox therapists. We often do share about ourselves, especially, I mean, we try to do it when necessary, but we're not shy of that. But it's often in our world that you don't share, you try not to share. And I think it's so important sometimes to hear people such as that have a platform such as yourself to share the story, because like you said, how powerful it was for you to hear someone else's story, to be like, oh, I'm not alone, I'm not the only one. So
Absolutely.
I think that it's you doing what you're doing and how you're doing it is not only helping others, but you're going to be setting forth a pathway for other people to be doing the same, which is that ripple effect that you keep talking about is going to be having that as well. It's so powerful.
The biggest thing in all of this is self-awareness. You have to be aware of what thoughts you're even having before you can go about changing them. Step one, rewind this whole thing. Step one is self-awareness. What are these thoughts saying to you? What do they mean to you? How do they make you feel? In my ebook, I have a whole sheet where I talk about, like, okay, when did this thought come up? Why did it come up? How did it make you feel? And over time, like a couple of days or whatever, you'll realize there's connections. It's always coming up at night. It's always coming up after work when I'm about to grab the snacks. It's always coming up this. And that's a really good exercise to start practicing what those thoughts even mean and finding those connections.
Yeah.
I think that's a really good point, and a lot of points you're making, it goes towards, I think, a lot of concerns that people have, not just eating disorders, a lot of different things, is to track what behaviors and what thoughts, so then you can start to understand yourself. And I think that a lot of what you're saying goes across so many different,
so many boundaries,
so
many borders of mental health, behavioral health, just realistic life. Okay, is that, if we can control our minds, which is one of the most hardest things to do. In fact, one of our members of the foundation is our clinical director, Dr. Hochberg. Okay, and I think his author is on his phone. And he went to a Buddhist monastery, okay, for 2 years. And I asked him, I said, what did you do for 2 years in a Buddhist temple? He said, well, I meditated. He said, you'll be surprised what goes through your head, okay, when you meditate. And he meditated for 2 years. And it was astronomical to me, because the hardest thing that I could do is spend 15 minutes and not doing anything. Okay, because my mind is hard to grasp on to something in my head to move to the next step sometime. My wife has to reel me in, okay, smack me around a little bit and say, hey, listen, stay focused, okay? So we have a couple more minutes, Miss Eden, and I appreciate all the information you gave us and the motivation that hopefully that you're giving others, okay, especially when they see this session. Okay, I want to give you one more minute before we start going to individuals and asking questions and see if they want to bounce some Q&A off of you. What is the last words that you can give to our listeners, our viewers, on changing one's mind frame for the better, be it for any type of disorders, any type of lifestyle, any type of change they want? Okay, give me that last inspirational sentence, right? Give me that last inspirational sentence. You said so much. Give me something that they can go home with right now at this second. Give me something. that was pressure.
There's a lot that goes on in my brain like all the time. I told you I never shut up. So I'm like, what do I say right now? Don't be overwhelmed with all of this information. Take it day by day. Take it step by step. Mess up. Be okay with failure. Why? Because when you fail, you realize what doesn't work. And you know what that means? you're one step closer to winning, right? So win and learn. Okay. Failure is inevitable. Failure is a part of the process. So keep that in mind. That'd be number one. I was trying to make it flow, but I'm like, how do I end this powerfully?
Listen, you got me.
I know. The progress that you make in pursuing your dreams and the progress you make in pursuing your recovery, your happiness, your goals comes down to your ability to do what others will not and are not, while following in the footsteps of those who have done what it is that you want. There will be people who don't believe in you. There will be people who don't understand the changes that you are making in your life. There will be people who just don't get it. Put your blinders on, know your why, know why you want a happier life. What do you want to get out of life? And just go. There is nothing that will make you unhappy faster than caring about what other people think. So however you can block out the outside noise, do it. Unfollow everyone on Instagram if you have to. I don't care. Maybe follow me and you guys. But anything that is going to be an avenue for you to compare yourself and wish that you were more or are more, that's not good energy. Fill yourself with the energy that will lift you up. Don't compare yourself. Stay in your lane, put your blinders on, and take it one step at a time and fail. And then learn.
There you go. Beautifully said.
Ladies and gentlemen, Miss Eden Gold. Thank you, Miss Eden.
And we're
very good. We want to give
open it up to the floor. Anybody else wants to make a comment, wants to ask Eden a question, go for it.
Unmute yourself and ask Miss Eden anything you want.
So hi Eden.
Hi.
Hi, my name is Aurora, and I actually know Eden because I follow her on. I follow you on. I get your YouTube mailings, and
do you really?
Yeah, I subscribe to you.
That's so cool.
Just wanted
the whole day.
I just wanted to say that I really love your energy and I love the message that you're putting out. And I know that this world really, really needs it. You might have mentioned this in the beginning of your talk because I was late in joining, but can you recommend a meditative practice? Is that something you do? And what benefits have you seen in your own experience if you are practicing meditation?
Totally. So I, like many people, have a hard time meditating, but I do want to get better at the sit still meditation. And I've done it before, but what I like to do is a couple of things. One is there are specific videos that I watch on YouTube almost every day, if not 3 or 4 times a week. And they are affirmation YouTube videos. So Eric Ho, Ericho, he just recently changed his name on YouTube to like Sri Arkin something. He has a video called morning affirmations, and there's one that's 10 minutes and 17 minutes, and I just listen to it while I'm doing my makeup, or I listen to it while I'm getting ready in the morning with some headphones every morning. It's called I Am Creator, and it's all these positive things. And then another one is Ed Milet. Type in Ed Milet motivation in the YouTube bar and just listen to it, and it is amazing, and it gives you all the motivation you need when you are feeling down on yourself. I'm telling you, listen to any person that you love or aspire, any motivational speaker, listen to their motivational talks on YouTube, and you will feel great. And do it many, many times in the week, as much as you can. And then the last thing I do, I call it walking meditation, but it's probably not meditation at all, is I blast music in my headphones so loud that my ears are probably bleeding. And then I just walk, and I get so in the zone that like I can't even hear my thoughts anymore. And I'm just like going, I'm all it's like screamo or something. Like who knows? But those would be the 3 things that I do: motivational videos, affirmations, like calming affirmations, and walking meditation.
Okay, got it. Thank you.
And they've helped a ton. So it takes 16 positive comments to override 1 negative comment. Fun fact. So it takes a lot more positivity to override one negative thing that you say to yourself. So what I've noticed is over time, I just start like realizing I'm being nice to myself, and I'm self-aware enough to the point where I'm like, whoa, that was really nice of me. Like I woke up the other morning and I was like, I can't wait to look at my body in the mirror to see how good I look. And I like caught myself and I'm like, wait, what? It's like, I've never heard my thoughts say that. Like, it was crazy. You never know when these things are going to happen. And I was on a walk like a couple of weeks ago and my thoughts were just like, I'm really proud of you. And I was like, what? I was like, this is crazy. So you just do it knowing that it will work. And then you'll just like, things will happen and you don't honestly have an answer all the time, but it will happen. So yeah.
I love that. Thank you, Eden. I'll check out those channels. Thank you.
Thank you for being a fan.
Of course. Thank you.
Oh, yeah. See, Miss Eden, you're surrounding everybody. You're across the world now. Okay, meeting people is so wonderful. I like what you said is that those affirmations, okay, very, very important. Okay, I do it myself in the morning. I look at my beautiful self.
Oh,
and
he does.
Oh, yes, I do. and
I do.
I really have to say, because I'm getting older, I mean, I'm not getting any younger, but I try to use positive affirmations, okay, on a daily basis. Okay, it rewires your brain. Okay, it takes the negative out, putting the positive in. Okay, and hey, I don't care if your head swells, but as long as there's positive information and affirmations in there, that's the better than negative. All right. All right. Next question. Anybody has a question, comment? Genesis, suicide prevention, Mr. Chuck.
Can y'all?
I'm still driving.
Still driving.
All right. Well, we want you to focus on the driving.
Focus on the driving, Chuck. Miss Genesis, you have something to say?
Yes, I just wanted to say that every time I hear Eden's story, there's something different I take from it. And I think that just shows how powerful her story is. Every time I listen to it, I'm reminded of my story, and I'm sure everyone's reminded of their story, And I love how she's just like raw and vulnerable and doesn't hold back, because I feel like that's a big part of healing. And that's a big part of showing that you've grown from where you struggled and how you overcame it. And for her to just like be transparent and be like, hey, I'm human. This is normal. Like, erase the stigma. I think that's just awesome and amazing. So yes, I loved hearing her again today.
All right. Thank you for the comment, Miss Genesis. That's wonderful.
Of course.
I think it is going along with what you're just saying. It is part of breaking the stigma, and it is important what we need to do to break that. I think such a big part of the stigma is all of us trying to be this perfect, whatever that perfect is. We all know we can't be perfect, but we're still striving for this, for whatever reason that is. And we all know this too, but we still try to do it. There's still this like image that this society has created, whatever society you live in, and we all still strive for this, knowing that it's not necessarily something we want. It's not necessarily even something you want to fit in all the time, but we still try to do that. But when we have people like Eden, who is like, hey, this is me, and this is what I'm gonna do, and then you have people who like Aurora's coming in and speak, I follow you and I love it, and you have Genesis who's confirming this and saying each time I'm hearing something different, which is also part of being a human, is that each time you find a different part of yourself, and each time you tell your story, it is different because you're different that day. You remember something different. You're recognizing something different. So I think it is, it's powerful that we all are destigmatizing the one, mental health, that it is a negative thing to try to empower yourself with, but also that we all need to be perfect and just being okay with being human. And I think that that's amazing that that's what you're empowering, Eden. And I don't even know if you knew that, but you are. If you didn't know that.
Amen to everything you said, but thank you for saying that. It's always but
Mr. Aurora?
I have to being myself.
I just wanted to add, Eden, that to echo what everyone else said, that what you're doing is actually a great act of generosity, because you are being vulnerable so that everyone else can feel safe and know they can also share and be vulnerable themselves. So I kind of feel like you're clearing a path for people. And that's really, wow, that's such a generous gift.
Thank
You
you.
know, yeah. So, I mean, I've never spoken with you before this day, but I have, I watch your videos and I love your energy and I love your authenticity. And the person that you are in those videos is the same person I'm seeing today. And I think that's very brave. And so I really commend you. And it takes a very strong person to do what you're doing.
Thank you so much. That just warmed my whole heart.
Yeah, we must look at these videos, and hopefully, Eden, you allow us to maybe put a video or two on our new website we're developing for the foundation and for the mental health practice. That should be ready within a good, I think, month or two. Okay, we're doing a very extensive workup on both of these sites. But this one of the things that we're doing is that we want to present different trainings and so forth, and different people making different presentations about what they're doing and how they're in the helping realm. It's one thing that I used to tell my interns, okay, when they were new clinicians, is that throw half the book out, okay? Throw half that book out of the homework and all this other stuff that they used to say that you had to do. I say, and put more compassion into your clinical sessions. Okay. If you are compassionate, a compassionate person in general, but compassionate to others, allowing them in your life, allowing them in your heart, okay, and they can feel it, okay, it resonates in what you're trying to do, okay, and people will be more receptive, okay, what you're trying to do and what you're offering, and you'll be able to help more. Okay, I specialize with adolescents. Okay, give me the worst adolescent, and I could change them around 99% of the time. Okay, it's only 1% out of the several thousands of kids I've ever, did counseling for, that I was not able to get into their life. Okay, make a change because I'm a compassionate person. That's why I love my wife. That's why we're doing this foundation. Okay, we're out to help people. We thank you for coming because you are helping individual. We want you to join us on our mission. Okay, in that helping arena, and hopefully we can reach more people by the help with you, Eden, and what you're presenting.
Thank you for having me and being so welcoming of me. Let's talk after any videos, anything you think might be important you want me to touch on. We can talk about it. And I'm happy to create one for you and your people who may need it. Happy to be a part of anything you guys ever need me for.
Well, that's what we like to hear. Well, folks, I tell you what, we're gonna wrap it up. Nicole, did you have anything else?
I just want to thank you, all of you, for taking your time out to listen to Miss Eden and to join us today, taking the time out to just talk about mental health and to be able to be in this space. It's a very important thing. We all can take time out to watch shows and to do all of that, but to take space to listen to someone, to discuss her, be vulnerable, and then also to just make such a powerful presentation. We thank you for joining that and to be a part of this. And we hope to see you all again. Our next presentation is going to be October 19th, 7:30 Eastern time. So it will be posted on our website and our social media. And so continue to follow. If you don't follow Miss Eden already, follow her, but I'm pretty sure everyone in here does. So we thank you so much again, Miss Eden, and we will be in touch with you very soon.
And Miss Eden, if everybody doesn't know, how could they get in touch with you?
Yes.
Either by phone or by email?
Anybody can email me at edengoldinquiries@gmail.com, or you can message me on Instagram. I'm most active on there at edengold_. And then my private Facebook community is called Peace of Mind, PIECE. And that is mental health for Gen Zs and millennials.
Beautiful.
Beautiful. And we want to give everybody our number also. It is the Hope and Healing Foundation and Advanced Client Care. You can reach us at 561-779-0748. Our national support and referral line that will be launched within the next 30 days is 844 HHF WILL. Okay, you'll be able to call us to get resources, educational information, any type of support systems that's close to you. Okay, either you could be in California, it doesn't matter. And if you're, we're going to have standby clinicians that will give you short, brief talk therapy or talk counseling. Okay, half an hour. And if you need any follow up to any type of mental health or any type of clinical services or wellness services, they'll be able to address that and refer you to the appropriate persons. So once again, folks, my name is Cedric Bell. This is my wife, Nicole Albanese Bell. We are the Hope and Healing Foundation for Suicide Prevention and Mental Health Wellness. We thank you for attending, and we give special thanks to our guest speaker tonight, Eden Golden. And
Gold.
we hope Eden Gold, well, she's golden to me. And we will look forward to seeing everybody October 19th at 7:30 p.m. We appreciate everybody. Peace and love, and you stay healthy out there.